Hello students, today we will be starting with part 3 of chapter number 5, that is the fundamental unit of life. We all know that in part 1 and in part 2 we have completed some topics such as what do you mean by cell, why it is termed to be a structural and functional unit of life, then who discovered cell and how, then what do you mean by microscope, what are the various types of microscope, talking about the cell number, how many types of organism do we have, that is unicellular and multicellular organism. We did talk about cell size and also talked that organism size does not depend on the number of the cells. Yes, or the organism's size does not depend upon the size of the cell. Yes, then we studied about the cell shape, that is all the cell may have different shape as per their function. We also dealt that all the organism shows a division of labor. So division of labor, that the work inside their body is divided, and that happens because of the presence of various cell organelles inside the cell. And in today's class, therefore, we shall in the continuity understand what are the basic features of a cell, that how does a given cell looks and what are the various components inside the cell. Yeah, or what is, first of all we'll be studying about the basic features, the main features that all the cell possesses, whether it be a plant cell or a animal cell or any of the microorganism cell. Yes, fine. So what are the three main basic features of any cell? That is, it is made up of three basic features. That is, the very first one is the cell membrane. Whensoever we talk of any cell, we shall first indicate the cell membrane. Yes, so this is the cell membrane. The next one, which is very common to all the cells, that is nucleus. It may be well developed or not very well developed. We will talk about that later. So the next thing which is very basic to all the cells, that is nucleus. So we have cell membrane, we have nucleus, and the next thing, that is cytoplasm, the fluid part of the cell, that is nothing but the cytoplasm. So what are the three basic features of a cell? That is cell membrane. Yes, the membrane, the boundary of the cell membrane, the nucleus, the head of the cell, the brain of the cell, and the cytoplasm wherein all the other cell organelles are located. Yes, so if we talk of a typical animal cell, how does it looks like? So it looks something like this, a typical animal cell, wherein you can also find the cell membrane. Yes, so we will label it over here, that is cell membrane. The next thing which is common to all the cell, yes, that is the nucleus and the fluid content of the cell. Yes, that is nothing but the cytoplasm. Now you can see that besides this three basic feature of any cell, that is cell membrane, the nucleus and the cytoplasm, inside the cytoplasm there are various cell organelles which are going to perform the different activities of a cell. That is, the division of labor is possible because of the various cell organelles that you can see in the diagram. Yes, so over here the very first one which you can see, double membrane, that is one inner outer membrane and the folded inner membrane, that is nothing but it is mitochondria. It is nothing but mitochondria. The next one that you can see over here, yes, so that is nothing but lysosome. That is nothing but lysosome. Yes, over here you can see some convoluted structures, some coiled structures. Those are nothing but the Golgi body, or together with the vesicles that you can see over here is termed to be as the Golgi apparatus, also quoted to be as Golgi apparatus. Yes, over here if we talk of the nucleus has a boundary. The boundary of the cell termed to be as the cell membrane. Similarly, the boundary of the nucleus is termed to be as therefore this boundary is nothing but termed to be as the nuclear membrane. Yes, over here we can see there is some structure inside the nucleus also, and that is nothing but it is nucleolus. It is termed to be as nothing but nucleolus. Okay, fine. And over here there is something emerging from the nucleus and reaching towards the cell membrane, and this portion is nothing but endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum. So we are going to study each and every part in detail. Why it is termed to be as endoplasmic reticulum, why this is termed to be as mitochondria, what is the function of nucleus, what all is included inside the nucleus. Okay, fine. So over here you can see that this structure, the convoluted structure on this side is endoplasmic reticulum, and over here also you find some convoluted structures. This is also nothing but endoplasmic reticulum, but it has some dotted structures on them, therefore it is nothing but the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Yes, do you understand this? And over here we see a structure over here, and this is nothing but termed to be as the centriole. Termed to be as centrioles. They are a bundle-like structure. They are two in number, placed at 90 degrees to each other. That is, if one of them is here, the other one will be over here. So this is only one shown in the diagram. So how does a typical animal cell looks like? So first of all we'll be drawing the three basic things such as the cell membrane, the nucleus and the cytoplasm. Then on we shall draw the nucleolus. Then on we shall draw the various suborganelles such as the endoplasmic reticulum, the mitochondria, the endoplasmic reticulum. Then we can draw the Golgi body or the Golgi apparatus, you can say. Yes. Then the cytoplasm is already marked, then centrioles, then lysosome, and so on. So here, this is the basic typical animal cell. Likewise, if we see a basic plant cell over here. So if we talk of the plant cell, it is also somewhat similar to that of the animal cell with some difference, as in over here also you found a boundary which is common to every cell, termed to be as the cell membrane. Then on we have the nucleus, and we have the next thing that is nothing but the cytoplasm, the plasm of the cell, that is cytoplasm, the semi-fluid material of the cell, termed to be as the cytoplasm. So here also it has the three basic features, that is the cell membrane, yes, the nucleus and the cytoplasm. Now inside the cytoplasm you find various suborganelles, yes, various organelles such as over here That is, this is which one? Yes, mitochondria. Then on, we have the next one, a very important one, which is only found in the plant cell. Yes, so that is nothing. Yes, in plant cell and in some microbes, that is some green organisms, that is the bacteria, that is some bacteria, blue-green algae and so on. And this structure is nothing but chloroplast, which is found only and only in the plant cell and not in the animal cell. So chloroplast. Over here we have something common to both, that is plant and animal cell. This is the convoluted structure, that is the endoplasmic reticulum. Yes, we also have structures like some small vacuoles. Now over here inside this plant cell, you can see that majority of the portion of the plant cell is being occupied by something, and this is nothing but the fluid filled structure organelle termed to be as vacuole. And this is a smaller vacuole. Similarly, majority of the portion of the plant cell is being occupied by nothing but vacuole. Apart from all this, the plant cell also possesses a structure that is, as you can see over here, which is not present in the animal cell, and this is nothing but the cell wall, which is absent in the animal cell. So over here, cell membrane is being surrounded by the cell wall. Can you see this? Yes. So the plant cell lacks, so the animal cell lacks what all? That is such bigger vacuoles, chloroplast, and even the cell wall. Do you understand this? Now, therefore, we shall first of all understand the cell membrane, and then on we shall understand the basic features as well as all the organelles which are present inside the cell. Yes, so we shall first of all start with cell membrane. So talking about the cell membrane, which is also termed to be as the plasma membrane. Why it is termed to be as plasma membrane? Because it is surrounding the plasma, and therefore it is termed to be as the plasma membrane. So this cell wall, the cell membrane is surrounding the plasma which is there inside the cell, and therefore the cell membrane is also termed to be as the plasma membrane, a membrane which surrounds the plasma. So talking about the plasma membrane or the cell membrane, yes, so it is the outermost covering of the cell, which is present in the plant, animals, the microorganism, and so on. Now, what does this do? What does this plasma membrane does? So the plasma membrane is surrounding the cell from its outer environment. Yes, so it separates the cell from the outer surroundings, Now, talking about this cell membrane or the plasma membrane, it is living. It is thin, it is very thin, it is elastic, yes, it is flexible enough, and it is a selectively permeable membrane. A very important thing to understand, it is a selectively permeable membrane. So exactly like our home door, that is selectively permeable. It doesn't allow each and everything to get inside the cell. Yes, it is very selective in nature. That is, it allows only some substances to enter inside the cell and only some substances to get out of the cell. Fine. So therefore, we also do not allow each and every person to enter inside our home. Yes, we are very selectively permeable. We allow only some our near dear ones and the known ones to get inside our house. So similarly, the boundary of the cell, the membrane of the cell, that is the plasma membrane, is selectively permeable membrane. It allows only certain substances to enter in and leave the cell. It doesn't allow each and everything to enter inside the cell, and it also doesn't allow each and everything from the cell to get out of the cell. Fine. And it has very minute pores on its surface with the help of which it can does the process of taking in something and giving out something. Fine. Now here, talking about the functions of the plasma membrane or the cell membrane, as you can see from here, the plasma membrane, it regulates the entry and exit of materials, that it doesn't allow all the thing to get inside the cell, it doesn't allow everything to get out of the cell, so it regulates the entry and exit. It gives a definite shape to the animal cell. As this is present, and because of the cell membrane, there is a given shape to the given cell. Yes, every cell has a particular shape, and that shape is maintained because of the cell membrane or the plasma membrane. It provides protection to the components as in internal components, that is cell organs such as nucleus, the mitochondria, the Golgi body, the lysosome, the endoplasmic reticulum. So everything, the cytoplasm, everything has been protected with the help of the boundary, that is the cell membrane. So it provides protection. And it is flexible enough, as we saw over here, that is elastic and thin. So it is flexible enough, it is elastic in nature, it is flexible so that it can engulf inside the body, it can take inside the body larger molecules, larger food molecules. Yes, so the digested food such as in the form of glucose and so on, that is amino acids and everything, the food particles, the larger molecules, everything can get inside the cell. Why? Because the cell membrane is flexible. So do you understand the functions of the cell membrane? It regulates the entry and exit, it protects the internal structures, it is flexible so that it can take large molecules inside it, and very importantly, it gives a definite shape to a given cell. Fine. Now here we shall be talking about something very important, that is how does the movement across the cell membrane takes place. We studied over here only that it is selectively permeable. Yes, the cell membrane, the outer membrane of the cell over here, the cell membrane is selectively permeable, but how does it allow certain substances to enter inside the cell? How does it gives out certain substances from its surface? Yes, so that is how does the movement across the cell membrane occurs. How does certain substances get inside? How does certain substances get out of the cell? So that is by the process of diffusion and by the process of osmosis. By which two process? That is diffusion and by osmosis. Fine. So here talking about diffusion, talking about what? Diffusion. Yes, diffusion, that is diffusing. For example, if you spray a perfume or a spray at one corner of a room, a packed room, then after the fraction of second, you'll find that the molecules have dispersed through the whole of the room, and the smell, the fragrance comes to the whole of the room. So why this happens? That is, the molecules which were being sprayed over here and in the rest of the room. Yes, so over here the concentration of the molecule was high, and over here the concentration of the molecule was low. So what will happen? That the molecules of that spray will start moving from the region of high concentration towards the region of lower concentration. That is, after some times the molecules of the spray would be equal in all the parts of the room. Therefore the fragrance would be felt in sensed in all the part of the room. Do you understand this? That is, the movement of the material, the movement of any material, whether it be solid, liquid or gaseous particles, the movement of the solid particles, liquid particles or the gaseous particles from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. So from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration is nothing but diffusion. diffusion. Do you understand this? For example, if we take the example of an amoeba is a single cell organism. So over here, if this is the single cell of amoeba, wherein this is the, yes, cell membrane, this is the nucleus, and the rest of the white part is nothing but the cytoplasm. Yes, so talking about the function of the cell membrane, how does it does diffusion? So for example, in the outer atmosphere, there is a good amount of oxygen, high amount of oxygen. Yes, and inside the amoeba, the level of the oxygen is low. Yes. So level of the oxygen over here is less. So what would happen? The oxygen from the outer environment, which is in higher concentration, will move to the body or will diffuse. Yes, or will diffuse from the outer atmosphere to the inner body of the amoeba. So who does the process of diffusion? Yes, this membrane, the cell membrane. The cell membrane does the process of diffusion. That is, the molecule of oxygen will travel from the region of higher concentration where it is much in amount to the region where it is less in amount. Fine. Now similarly, what happens? The amoeba does the process of digestion, and therefore it is breaking down the food, and therefore what it is doing? The amoeba is releasing CO2. Amoeba is releasing what? CO2. So the level of CO2 inside the amoeba is more in comparison to that of the CO2 in the outer environment. Fine. So what will happen? The CO2, that is the carbon dioxide, which is higher in amount in amoeba's body, will start moving from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. Do you understand this? So the CO2 is going to diffuse from higher to lower. So this is the process wherein, due to difference in the concentration, that is, here the concentration of oxygen is more, and inside the concentration of CO2 is more. Fine. So therefore, oxygen will diffuse from outside to inside, and the CO2, which is the waste of amoeba, will diffuse from inside to outside. So do you understand that how does diffusion process helps in exchanging gases? Yes, that is, what is diffusion? The movement of material from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. Fine. Yes. Talking about the next thing, that is osmosis. Talking about what? Osmosis. Now here, osmosis is what? It is nothing but it is one kind of diffusion only. But when there is diffusion of water, when there is diffusion of water, diffusion of what? Water. It is termed to be as osmosis. That is, water also obeys the laws of, yes, that is, also obeys the law of diffusion. Water also does this. Where the water is more in amount, it will start flowing from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. Yes. So the movement of water through any of the selectively permeable membrane is termed to be as osmosis. Now, talking about this osmosis, if we talk, if I give you an example of osmosis, suppose in a container, yes, which is filled with water, which is filled with what? Yes, which is filled with water. Now here, if you place raisins, if you place what? Raisins, in our lame language that we term to be as the dried grapes. Yes, if you place this. Now, as you all know that in the water, what is being placed? Raisins are being placed, or dried grapes, we say. Now this raisins is being placed in the water. Now the raisins have water. They have less amount of water. Fine. And over here we have the container which is filled with water. Rather, the raisins are filled with sugar. Now what will happen? Where is the concentration of water more? So in the container, the concentration of the water is more. and in the raisins the concentration of the water is less. So over here the concentration of sugar is more, but the concentration of water is less. And in outside container the water is more in amount, and therefore more in amount, as in we will understand this concept in detail in the next part. Now here if we talk of this, if you soak the raisins for some time in this container, you will find that after some time the raisins will swell up. Yes, they will get bigger in size, something like this. Now this is what? This is the swelling of the raisins. Why do they swell up? They swell up because the water which was more over here has started moving from its region of high concentration to the region of lower concentration, where the level of water was less. Yes, so therefore they have swollen. So this is nothing but osmosis. This is nothing but osmosis. Fine, we shall understand the concentration stuff in the next chapter, in the next part. But till now your homework for today will be draw the neat and labeled diagram of animal cell, draw the neat and label diagram of the plant cell, and write a note on plasma membrane or the cell membrane, and define diffusion and osmosis. Thank you.